This is the Vent Time with Connie podcast, where we discuss topics that can be controversial or uncontroversial. Topics range from family, faith, lifestyle, you name it. No topic is off limits. New episodes released every Tuesday and Friday. All right, sit back and relax. Here is your host of the show, Connie.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Vent Time with Connie podcast. I'm your host, Connie. Welcome to episode 37. Today's episode is a special one because I have a lovely lady that happens to be my mother-in-law. I love her a lot, and she's a very kind woman and virtuous woman, if I have to say so myself. And she's here with me because I told you guys before this week would be Mother's Day special. So I'll be talking about everything Mother's Day. So on Tuesday episode, I talk about the relationship, the feud between daughter-in-law and mother-in-law. I try to explain some of the reason why there's a feud between them. So, and I told you guys, I don't know if I did, but I said I was going to bring in a special guest that will help me dissect this issue. So today's topic is going to be motherhood, and I brought in my mother-in-law, Mrs. Angela Okafor. Hello, Mom. Welcome to this podcast. How are you?
Fine, are you?
I'm good. How are you feeling today?
Oh, great. The Lord is good.
All the time.
Yeah.
Okay, Mom. For those that don't know, who you are and us, and they wanted to know, like, who is Miss Angela Okafor? What would you want them to know about you?
Oh, yeah. As you know, your mother-in-law, my name is Angela Okafor.
Okay.
I don't need to tell you again, but I can tell people out there.
Yeah.
And I'm married with 4 kids, including your husband.
Yes.
And we've been married for 36 years. Happily Christian family.
Amen.
And I have passion to be a teacher since I was young.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Because of that, I went to teachers college education. First of all, I went to teachers training college.
Yes.
And since teaching is my passion, so I made it possible to go to those series of colleges that will help me to be a good teacher.
Yes.
So after the teachers training college, I went to College of Education in Lagos State.
Oh,
It's
wow.
called NCE. That's what it is. Nigerian
Okay.
College of Education. After that, I got teaching appointments. I started teaching.
Oh, wow. So this is like when you were young?
Yes, this young and not really. I've already married. I was in my parents' house when I did the teachers training. So then I got married and I went to NCE because I told my husband my passion is nothing but teaching.
Yes.
And he's a kind man. Whatever that I love, he loves it. And he wants me to do my passion. He wants me to follow my aspiration, whatever I want.
Oh, that's
So
good.
he was even the one that inspired me to go further. As I was teaching, I went back to University of Nigeria in Nsukka for my degree.
Oh, wow.
That's essence of having a good husband.
Yes, that's very important. Yes.
Yes. So his answer when I said, is it gonna be okay for us to, to be having kids, going to school? He said, the Lord is in absolute control. So I can't forget that. He always told me that. So, and I was asking him the reason as if he knew my mind. He said that for me to get myself well prepared to be a good teacher and help people out there, especially children.
Yes.
After that, when I came to America, USA, I didn't even stop there. I went back to school again. He said it's high time I get my master's.
Yes.
So I went back to school to do my master's in business administration,
Oh,
MBA. where I am right now. But guess what? I was telling him that since he wants me to go further, I want to go and finish my
PhD.
PhD. And he said I should hold it on there. So
he told you to stop by that time?
he said, yeah, this time around, he said, remember, I'm the one that used to ginger you to do all these things, but this time around, I need you around me. I don't want you to.
He wanted you to take a break.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
good. I'm glad that you are still, ambitious and still wanting to go to school and educate yourself, even though you are married and you have kids. You didn't let that stop you, because so many people use this as an excuse. Oh, because of the kids, I couldn't do this. Oh, because I'm married, I can't do this. All those things. But you still have, like you say, it's very good to have a very good husband that will support you to still go out and
Yes.
achieve your dreams. So
Exactly.
shout out to my father-in-law too. He's a great man.
He is.
Oh, okay. So now let's talk about us, how we met. Well, me and my husband met in 2017. So we had to meet the very first time. I think that was in Atlanta. So I wanted to know, for our listeners, we already know this, but when you first met me, like, what was your first impression towards me? Then I'll tell you my first impression once you're done answering.
Oh my God, that's a good question. Remember we met at Atlanta in your parents' house when we
Yes.
came to ask for your hand in marriage.
Yes.
So when I first saw you, my first impression about you was that, whoa, you are going to be my first daughter-in-law.
Aww.
And I was very, very impressed, very, very excited, very happy. Even everybody was looking at me as, what's going on? But they don't know what was going on in my mind.
Yes.
Then I said to myself, in my mind, I said that you are going to be my child.
Yes.
Because the way I treated my children is the way I'm going to treat you. You're going to be my child. Not only that, you will be the baby of the house. You will be my daughter. You will be my queen. You are my princess. As I was looking at you, all these things was going on in my mind. You are so beautiful. You are my love. You are my woman. Which all the time, anybody that sees my phone and your name, they will see, Oyi Nwa.
And Nwoma means beautiful child or beautiful daughter.
Yes.
That's so sweet. I mean, for me too, when I first met you, I mean, before I met my husband and all those things, I always pray. Like I said, I always pray for my mother-in-law, because you hear these stories about mother-in-laws and the daughter-in-law always have issues. I always pray. I was like, I want me and my mother-in-law to get along, to the fact that we don't have to be like everybody else, I wanted us to have peace, because the very important thing is, I also think about my future husband. I don't want to put him in a situation where he have to choose between his wife and his mother. Nobody wants to be in that situation. So I always pray for my mother-in-law, like, no matter what it is, I will try everything possible to make sure there is peace. I don't know who God's gonna give me, but I pray God give me a nice person. But when I first met you and knew about you, God basically blew my mind. Like, it was out of my expectation. Like, I was expecting maybe a good, average mother-in-law, but you just exceeded my expectation. And you were so kind that you treated me like a daughter. Like, I haven't seen someone that have such a pure heart like you do. It's so rare. It's so rare out there. And it's easy to call you mom. It's easy to call you mom, because you're practically, actually, for my listeners, you guys don't know this, my mother-in-law looked just like my mother. If you see both of them, you would think they are actually sisters. And if you see me and her, you will not believe she's my mother-in-law. You would think she's actually my mother. And maybe think my mother is probably the sister of my mother-in-law. I don't know, both of them just look alike. So it just worked out so perfectly. And we merged very well. Like, we didn't have any issue. We understand each other. We understand each other's, boundaries and everything. And that's rare. That's rare out there. It's hard to meet people. Well, the first time I met you, you're like a bundle of joy. You are so always happy. You're always happy. There's no a bad day for you. You were so bubbly and so excited, and then you saw me so excited, and your eyes got a little bit bigger because you were so excited and smiling. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I was so overwhelmed with love when I first met you, and that was actually our first time meeting. It seems like we have known each other for a long time. So it's a blessing, and I thank God for you each day.
I really thank God because I would say it's answered prayer, because I've been praying about daughter-in-law,
Yes.
but God really answered my prayer. And when we came to your house, I met your mom. Even your dad also resembled my husband. Even
Yes.
my son, he came back, he told us the same thing. He said, Mom, if you see my wife's mom, she looks like you.
Yes.
Dad, if you see my wife's dad, he looks just like you.
you.
And when we saw each other, it's just exactly. To tell you the truth, part of it, your mom and I, we call ourselves, to even till today, we call ourselves one name. Because anybody that sees each of us will be asking me, what, so your sister came here, you didn't tell me.
It's so amazing. It's hard because we didn't really I know we are from the same, we speak the same language and everything, but actually before I met my husband, we didn't really know about like the Okafor's family. Nobody. So it wasn't like we were related or anything. No, we were from different village. We never met before. And I met my husband. I was living in Texas. I was living in Atlanta. So our path never crossed until we actually, when I feel like God destined it for us to cross, and then we got married. So for us, for you to look like my mom, my dad looked like my father-in-law, is so rare and unique. And it seems like we have known each other for a long time. No, we just actually just knew each other since me and my husband decided to get married. I really thank God for that, and to have each other.
And I believe that that shows whatever you're doing, you have to hand it on to God.
God, yes.
Yeah, so that God will perfect it. So this is a perfection.
Yes. He does it best. God knows us even before we were born. So yes, He knows what will be good for us. Okay.
Yep.
So let's go over to the next question. I wanted to know, this topic of today is motherhood. We'll be talking about everything motherhood. And you've been a mother over 30-something years, so you're well experienced, in this topic. So that's why I believe that you're a perfect guest to talk about this. So basically, you raised my husband and including his siblings probably back in the days or something. So you have that experience with being a mother back in the days. So I wanted to know, what is the difference being a mother when your time and what it is right now? Is there any difference at all?
Everything depends on how you and your husband plan things.
Yeah.
If you and your husband are one, you bring God first, then God is going to, do everything, perfect everything for both of you.
Yeah.
My husband and I were just one, and we love each other. So whatever we're doing, as I told you, we let God know, get God in front, and before we start doing it, and we have to seek God's advice and God's direction before we start doing it. And it's been working for us just like that.
That's good. That's good. I mean, it's always good to work together. That's why God created man and woman, so both of them can work together to raise a family. Also, I want to know, when it was back then, when you become a mother, now people go to antenatal care, which is basically prenatal visit, like going to the hospital every month, those that are pregnant. Back then, were you guys required to visit the doctor every month when you are pregnant in the course of that 9 months?
Oh yeah. It depends on, there are people unlike here, remember this time around the doctor will tell you the day to come and everything, but then it depends on the family.
Yes.
If you have that money, you have your doctor will be able to tell you this and that and know whether your baby is going to be a boy or a girl. But it's unlike It's
Yeah.
unlike some families. Yeah.
Yes.
Some people will be pregnant, but they will not see the doctor till the day of their birth. Some
Wow.
people will, some people will be there trying to do everything by themselves. Some people will not even see the doctor. They will deliver at home. So there
Yes,
are so
that's
many
true.
things that are really happening,
Yes. Yes.
But God we are serving is a good God. He's been
Yes.
seeing people through no matter the condition.
Condition. Yes.
Yeah.
So okay, that's good. I mean, that's a lot of difference now, because sometimes for someone like in our age, you always wonder, how did you guys survive back then? How did you guys survive? You don't go to the hospital until you are giving birth, or you didn't even give birth at all in the hospital. It will, because we couldn't imagine it because we weren't there. But you gave a perfect answer. It was God was with you, with anybody there all the time. So when God is with you, nobody's going to be against you. You can have your
Exactly.
baby in the hospital, you can have it at home. He's always with you. So God helped you
Yes.
guys through that process.
Yes. And there are people that don't have enough, but they will have 10, 9,
Yes.
11 kids.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, God is the one that will, train
Yes.
those kids.
Yes.
But people will be saying, how are they going to manage? How are they going to feed these kids? But you see those kids growing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the question is, who made it possible? It's nobody than God.
God.
Because
Yes.
the husband and wife didn't even know how it
Yes.
happened.
Yes.
So everything is unto God. Just hand everything unto Him. You see things happening.
That's good. That's so true. Okay, another one I want to ask. I know you did mention earlier that when you got married, you talked to your husband about continuing school. He supported you, was like, I'll support you in your dreams. And you got married, even when you were having kids, you were still pursuing your dreams, which is becoming a teacher or already a teacher. So going to school to acquire all the necessary certificates to become a teacher. I want to know, how did you cope with that? Like being a wife, being a mother, and also going to school and also a teacher. How did you handle all that role?
Okay, that's a good question. How I did move going to school and being a mother and a wife when I was younger. First of all, I handed everything on to God. I can't. There anything I'm doing, I must. That's my first phrase. That's my
Yes.
first thing I will tell you. How some people may be like, why is she always mentioning God? Because I know what He has done for me, and I can't
Yes.
do without Him. So I will continue mentioning Him. So,
Yes.
first of all, I handed everything on to God. And secondly, I made sure that my husband and I were in good rapport.
Yes.
Also, we make sure we love each other. We made love to abide us together.
Yes.
Because of the love we have for each other, my husband takes care of our children. If I am not around, maybe I'm at work or I'm at school, and we made our schedule in such a way that my husband can be able to do his own work and
Yes.
his responsibility as the head of the family. That is
Yes.
really, really very important
Yes.
because no matter what, my husband is the head of the family.
Yes.
So and he is the head of the family doesn't mean that he doesn't know that he has respect for me or
Yes.
tell me two of
Yeah.
us being together. In short, when you marry and you both of you made love to bind both of you together, you see things working out because
Yes.
you know whom you are a peculiar person, a person set apart. So
Apart.
whatever
Yes.
you ask, he will do it for you. So he perfectly did that for us because
Yes.
we're together. There is nothing like togetherness.
Yes, that is so true. That's a lovely actually story, and it shows how you and your husband, which is my father-in-law, work together as a team, and and making sure the family move forward, and not blaming anyone, but making sure both of you are working together. Okay,
Yes.
another one.
Right,
Go ahead.
no, sorry to interrupt you.
No,
Even
you're
till
good.
now, you can testify to that.
Yes,
It doesn't
yes,
stop that because when you started, it's going to even your children that they all are going to imitate and emulate what mom and dad are doing. So that is
yes,
why it's very, very right, very, very good for husband and wife to be together, to be in the Lord and bring up
Yes.
their children in the Lord too. You see things working out right.
Yes. So I know for some mothers, especially back in the days or something, I don't know what it is, but when you ask them, or people that are maybe a friend or something that have went through childbirth, right? That means going to labor, having a child.
Mhm.
When you ask them the question, how is your labor experience, your childbirth experience? Why do some women don't like to share that? Are they trying not to scare us or something?
It's not that they don't like to share that, but individual differences. And again, children birth is not just the same way.
Oh yeah,
Each child
it's
is
different.
different. So
Yes.
the way you have this baby is not the way you're gonna have the other baby.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
but as I told you, no matter what is going on, when the time comes, you know that it's the Lord that
It's be
put
your
the
strength.
baby. You don't even know when
Yeah.
when the baby entered. So the same Lord is going to bring the baby out, and you are gonna deliver like women of Hebrew.
Hebrews.
So
Yes.
any woman you ask about the childbirth, it's not that they were dodging, but they will be thinking about, do I have to tell you my first birth or the second or the third?
That's true. That's true. That's
And
true.
you will see that they will then tell you the same thing that is normal. Since other women are doing it, you can do it.
Yes.
As long as you hand it over to God, you see things, you see God doing it for you, and you won't even know when it will happen.
Yes.
So at that time, some women will be thinking that when I tell her, she will be freaking out, thinking that
Yes.
this is hard. It's not
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
It's not
That's
hard.
true. That's true. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. They don't want to
Yeah.
scare us, those that haven't had a child
Ex-
before. So that's
exactly.
understandable. Okay.
Hey there! If you haven't heard about Anka, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. Duh, that's why I'm using it. There's a creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Now, take out your phone, download the Anchor app, or go to your computer and type in this anchor.fm to get started. Let me repeat that. Download the app, Anchor app, or you go to the computer and search for anchor.fm to get started. Let's do this.
I know when a woman finish having a child, they have to nurse the child they just gave birth to. And most fathers or husbands, right, have complained that their wife neglects their wifely duties once they have children. Why is that? Like, why do most fathers always complain the same thing, that once their wife get pregnant and have children, it's like the wife will draw all her attention to the children and the husband will feel left out and feel neglected. Like, why is that? Why do women easily can drift away and focus their attention just only on their children when they have children?
Oh my God. That's a tricky question. Everything is, you can't give what you don't have. It's what
Yes.
you have that you will give.
Yes.
Like this question now, I haven't experienced that because
Yes.
from the beginning, me and my husband, we made love to abide us together.
Yes.
So we have equal love even to all our kids. My
Yes.
husband has his own equal love with my kids. I have the same equal love with my husband, no
Yes.
matter. And so all our kids, the same thing, they have equal love to their siblings. So it all depends on how you bring your family up, the growth of your family.
Yes.
Like the way you make your bed is the way you lie on it.
Yes,
If you
that's
make
true.
your family to be a Christian family, a family of God with equal love, a family that loves God, I believe that things like that will not occur. Because I believe those that are saying those things are the ones that don't have, or they don't experience, they don't know what love is. But believe me, if you make your family to be a family of God and love each other, the kids will grow up the same way, and there will be no differentiation. Nobody is going to say, oh, you love your kids more than you do to me, or you love your husband more than you do to your kids. So that is why it is very, very essential for each and every one of us, both the new married ladies, to bring love first in your family, allow love to abide your family together, let your kids know what love is all about. I mean, when I say love, the love I mean is not going out to get boyfriend or girlfriend. No, I mean charity begins at home. Yes, so you have to make your family to be lovely by bringing God first, making your children to love each and every of their siblings and loving their parents. Teach your children not to love only mom and hate dad, or love dad and hate mom. There should be equal love.
Yes, I mean, you are absolutely right. I think in this, what the complaint from those fathers or husband is, it usually happens when the mothers just give birth. You know, when you give birth, first 3 months or 6 months, you are actually new mothers, they're trying to adjust. So they're trying to find a way to balance it, being a mother, just in that little phase. That's what the husband was complaining just about. It doesn't mean that she loves her children more than the husband. Like for women and like the new mothers especially, because when you have 1 or 2 kids, you would know how to balance it. Like how do they balance still making sure they are giving their husband attention and giving their children, like find the balance, because everything is balanced. Because I know they're probably excited because they just have a child and they're trying to make sure the child is okay. So I think that's probably when the husband will start feeling a little bit neglected. So what would be your advice to them, how to balance it?
Yes, as a mother, you have to let your husband know with joy. Let him know this is what is gonna happen. It's not that it's not that I don't love you or I love my baby most, but you even at times, good fathers, good husbands, they do the same thing to them. When they see their wife doing the thing, they are loving their baby, they will, start doing the same thing instead of complaining. And it's not good. It's not healthy for the father or the mother to start complaining about, oh, you're giving more love to your new baby or this or that. So that's why I'm saying but I'm still saying that make love to abide the family together. When love abides and takes over, I don't think any one of both the husband or the mother will be complaining of anything. So the best thing for us is to do that. Allow love to take over your family.
Yes, and God is love, and God is the love that will take over. Yes. Okay, you answered that perfectly well. But I want us to talk about, mother-in-law, right? Because you're mother-in-law, I'm a daughter-in-law. So, mother-in-law these days in the society or in any way, especially in African community, I want to know, why do mother-in-law have such a bad reputation? Because I know you do have friends that are also mother-in-law like you, and you do hear stories. Like, I want to know, why people have such negative stereotypes or bad reputation towards mother-in-laws?
I believe it's all about knowing God. If you don't know God, there is no way you will love, because God is love. If you don't love God and hand everything unto, when you have another person coming to your house, like your daughter-in-law, as they call, she's from another mother, she's from another mother, like your own child. Your child will go to another mother too. This is what I tell people. This is what I tell my friends. As a mother-in-law, you have to show your daughter. She is your daughter. Like you, I will use you as my example. You are, when I saw you, as I said, you are everything to me. As long as my children, the way I treat my children is the way I treat you. And I love my children, and they took that love that we have, both of us, me and my husband, got. So therefore, mother-in-laws should love their daughter-in-law because they are their children. You don't have to. If you hate your daughter-in-law, who is your daughter, who is your princess, who is your, in fact, I can't really understand that, because it's not really good, because it's not in the Bible. If you don't love any human being, that means you don't love God.
Yes.
Then you go outside there, bring your daughter-in-law who is gonna be everything for you. Why are you hating her? Why are you troubling her? Why are you, I don't really get it. That's not
Yes.
fair. That's not good.
Yes.
I do teach people, I do tell people, is nothing but not knowing God.
Yes.
Because if you're a child of God and you have that good heart, everything will be joy for you. That you got your kids are out to another poor people, another mother-in-law, and they will be the way you treat your daughter-in-law. That's exactly they will treat your own daughter over there.
Yes.
Remember, so
Yes.
people should think twice before they do things.
Yes.
And people should start loving.
Yes.
That is the best thing on earth, for somebody to have a daughter-in-law. When I see my daughter-in-law, I can't even wait to, anytime I don't see you, remember, I will call you. I call, oh, you, yeah, because, when you guys are together, when things will start working out right.
Yes.
Because devil is roaming around looking for whom to devour. And where the Spirit of God is not, devil will enter and start
destroying.
So destroying the family, which
Yes.
is not, then who caused it? You will start blaming.
Yes.
This is the work of the devil. But who allowed devil to come in? You allow devil to come in. So the first thing you have to do when your son is ready to get married, pray about it. Let God give you a daughter-in-law that you will cherish, that will be with you, that you will call your daughter, that you call your daughter-in-law, that you have because your daughter-in-law is your daughter, is in fact is your child that you have to pamper and do everything for. Now, if you have to, let me give example, if you have 2 boys or 3 girls or 3 boys, or they all will marry. So your prayer will be that when they come, they have to do the way you and your husband you do it. They have to do the way you bring your family together as a Christian family. That's how things will move out well, and that's how the blessings of the Lord will be. If you read the blessings of the Lord in the Bible, you will see you have to do things that are correct, that are right, that pleases God, before things will start working out for you. So I don't really like mother-in-laws that don't love their daughter-in-laws. I don't like it, and it's not good, even in the sight of God. You have to grow your family with love. That's why I always talk about it. Grow your family with love. And if you look at those mother-in-laws that don't love, it starts from, because charity begins from home, it starts from they don't love their husband too, and they don't love their kids.
Yes.
Because if you don't love your daughter-in-law or your son-in-law, or if you don't have love, you don't have love. Yes. So that's why we have to pray. Yes. That's why we have to pray about it, so that but let me tell you, it's just by the grace of God. It's not easy.
It's not.
That's why I told ladies, now before you start getting married, start praying, tell God to give you everything that will make you to be happy, by getting a Christian family, that when you go in, you will be happy no matter what is going on. You'll be happy.
Okay, for the last word now, I want to give you the room to give advice to young moms, upcoming moms that are scared of being a good mother, or hoping to be like a good mother like you. Like, what would be your advice to them? How would you encourage them?
By the time, before you start thinking about marriage, I will advise or let everybody know that the best thing to do is to start praying about it.
Yes.
When you start praying about it, tell God what you want about the type of husband you want, the type of mother-in-law you want, just as you did. Yes. The type of brothers and sisters-in-law that you want, people around you. Yes. So when you start praying about it continuously, and you yourself, you know that you have to be a child of God. So when you do that, when the time comes, you will see that marriage is the best and the sweetest thing on earth. Yes. It's something that God created. Yes. Yes. So the best thing for the new moms or mothers, or how to balance being a wife, mother, and work will be that you have to love your husband so that your husband will love you too. See? And both you and your husband must have equal love for your children.
Yes.
When you marry, all these things are what you're gonna put into consideration. You don't have to love one of your child and hate another one, or love this one because of one thing or the other. No, both of you, because you have already made love to abide you guys together, is including the family. So when you have children, they are in your family. So all of you should, have that equal love for your children.
Yes.
Then again, you have to nourish your children with the word of God.
Yes.
Make sure that your children love God too, as you and your husband. At the same time, as long as you have kids, they will be following your footsteps. Whatever
Yes.
mom or daddy is doing is what they will be doing.
Yes.
So you do not take back home everything or any wrong information or wrong advice or wrong interaction from your friends or anybody out there to your Christian home, because already it's not easy. You have made your home to your family to be a Christian family, so you don't have to take all this wrong information to your home, because you don't want your family to to break. So you pick the good advices and take it home for the growth of your family. There are so many things you have to do in order to know that it's good to marry, because when you look at those families that are putting all these things into consideration, you will know that you will love to have one, and again, do not imitate those that are showing off their wealth, because this can also break your family. Do not also force your husband to give you money that he does not have. There are so many things. Then also pray together with your whole family always, because prayer is the key.
Yes.
A family that prays together, stays together. Yes. So you and your husband must have the mind of forgiving one another. You must have that mind. Then also teach your family how to read the Bible, because Bible is the word of God, and word of God is God himself. So the family should memorize the 10 commandments in the book of Exodus chapter 20. If young ladies can make her time to read this Exodus chapter 20 from 1 to end, and that will help the family to grow also. And living as a Christian life will make the children to be responsible and behave well. And finally, if you read Ephesians chapter 5, verses 22 to 26, you will see where the Bible says, wives, submit to your husbands as the head of the family. And husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church, because he is the head of the church. So I will like all to read the quotations to the end. That will really, if you start doing all these things even before or when you marry, that will help a lot. And you will love to get, those that haven't married, they will love to get married, because with all these things, they will see their mates or their friends, their families that are in good rapport with each other. Even the children, they love each other. They don't do without each other. They love each other, and they love, because when they love themselves, parents love themselves, the same thing they will do outside. The neighbors, anybody they see outside there, they will love. So love becomes their, get married is good. To have husband is good. To have kids is good. It depends on how you like it, but the best is to hand everything on to God and pray about it before you move in.
Got it. That's so true. I cannot say that anymore. Like, you said it perfectly well. I don't even have anything to add to that, because you summarized everything. So now we have come to the end of this. So now we're gonna relax and play a game. So this game will be in relation to motherhood, of course. And most of our people, people, they don't teach their children how to speak Igbo. So we want to help them out a little bit, right? I would say some words that are related to children, like what a mother would say to her child. But it will be an English word, and then you help me translate it in Igbo, so we can give them some, clues or some tips on what to teach their children, what to speak to their children, so they can learn how to speak Igbo language. Okay?
Okay. All right.
All right. Okay, you ready for the game?
I'm really ready.
Okay. So we're going to start easy. Okay, the first word is school.
Ụlọ akwụkwọ.
Awesome. The second word is church.
Church ụlọ ụka.
Awesome. Yes. And the third word is breastfeeding.
Ichume ụmụara.
Awesome. And another one is playtime.
Igwu egwu.
Okay. Another one is sit down.
Nodu ala.
Okay. Another one is keep quiet.
Zuo ike.
Or meshonoge. Yeah.
Meshono.
Yes. Another one is head.
Isi.
Okay. Another one is, this one is a little bit hard. Shoulders.
Ubu.
Okay. I learned something new. Ubu. Okay. Another one is neck.
Olu.
Okay. Another one is toes.
Say it again.
Toe.
Mkpịsị ụkwụ.
Okay. Another one is stand up.
Bilite ọtọ.
Respect your elders.
Kwuo ya ọzọ.
Respect your elders.
Sọpụrụ ndị toro gị.
Okay. Another one is respect your parents.
Sọpụrụ nne gị na nna gị.
Awesome. And let me give you another last one. The last one I would say is good child.
Ezigbo nwa, ọkwa ihe m na-akpọ gị nwa ọma.
So that's awesome. We had a good time. I hope you enjoy, being on as a guest here.
Honestly, I can't wait to be coming to you again anytime.
Yes,
I really enjoyed every bit of it. I'm so happy.
Yeah, me too. We enjoyed it, and I'm sure that our listeners out there, young moms out there, they will learn a lot of things just from listening to this episode, and because you answered all questions that worries or concerns or complaints they might have. You answered it, and the summary of it, you always use God to answer all of it, because you have to put God in center of everything in your life. So that's where the solution is. We're looking up to Christ.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you do, make sure you come back for more episodes. And happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. Mom, do you want to shout out to anybody for Mother's Day? First of all, happy Mother's Day to you, Mom.
Thank you. Happy Mother's Day to you too. Yay. I want to shout out to my in-law, Philomena Alakwe.
Yes.
I'm wishing her happy Mother's Day, and to all mothers out there.
Yes.
I pray that God is going to give us the grace to overcome whatever that is going on.
Yes. Amen.
In Jesus' name.
Amen. Okay. Thank you. And a shout out to all my sisters, all my sisters-in-laws, all the mothers out there, young mom, old moms, the OGs. Shout out to all of you. Happy Mother's Day. We love you all. And God is being your strength and will always be your strength. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for having me, my love.
Same here. Thank you for coming. All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Vent Time with Connie podcast. Remember to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, or whatever platform you listen to podcasts. Please don't forget to like, rate, review, or share this podcast. Do you have any feedback or questions for Connie, or any topics you'd like to discuss on the show? Connie loves communicating with our listeners. You can find her on Instagram and Facebook at Vent Time with Connie, or send an email to venttimewithconnie@yahoo.com. Until next time, remain blessed.